welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, hallelujah! The Chicago Bulls find a way to, snap their 4-game losing streak and pick up a win against a team that, yes, we may match up well against, but I don't think anybody really had a lot of confidence that we would walk out with a win against the Boston Celtics. Today, we're looking at the game reaction, we'll be looking at what we did well, and obviously, if this could be the start of something, that can turn things around for the Chicago Bulls in the future, because that is really what we need. This may not be what many people, turn sides to and now start building confidence in this team again. But what we can say about this game is it's a start, ladies and gentlemen, and let's see if we can progress on it. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls game today. Who was your player of the game, and your overall thoughts and opinions on how well the Chicago Bulls played. Ladies and gentlemen, finally I can say it, the Bulls win this game 121-107. All around great game from the Chicago Bulls. And ladies and gentlemen, this truly felt like opposite day. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We had a great start to the game. We had a great third quarter as well. 2 of those quarters we usually start off very poorly in. We did not start poorly in those games. And obviously in the fourth quarter as well, we played very well in that as well. So again, very, very simple stuff. We played 4 quarters of basketball today, which is something we haven't been able to say for the last, I think pretty much all season we haven't played 4 quarters. So it was very good to pick up a win in this one. And again, hopefully this is the start of something special. And now, ladies and gentlemen, with that Boston Celtics game, we can't just keep expecting the Chicago Bulls to lose every single game. Now, their performances might suggest that we will be very fearful, but the Bulls needed this win, and the Bulls got this win. This is obviously their last game at home at the United Center for a little bit of time. They're obviously going out west very, very soon. They've got a game against Milwaukee away from home very soon as well. This West Coast trip, they're going to have to start battling together. They're going to have to start competing together. And that's something that hopefully we'll see. And then again, maybe this is the start of something. But you want to leave the United Center, I should say, with the crowd behind you, the crowd supporting you, the crowd cheering you. You want all of that to happen. And thankfully the Bulls did so today. Let's talk about some of the positives and the negatives. As much as we give a lot of stick to Billy Donovan, I think his timeouts today were superb. Again, every single time Boston got a little bit of momentum from the 3-point line, there was a timeout called at the exact right moment. He got the challenge spot on today as well. Those 2 things from Billy Donovan really helped the Chicago Bulls seal a win, and I loved every bit of that. Now, I still want changes to the starting lineup. 1 win is not going to change my mind. I do think our starting lineup does need a little bit of switch up. It does need a little bit of a change, but again, I'm not going to talk too much about that because the Bulls won the game. Obviously, a much better performance from all of our big 3, from Vucevic, from DeMar, and from Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine had a very strong fourth quarter. He got played in the fourth quarter today, and he did not impact, us losing a game. He made the difference in many ways in that fourth quarter. Vucevic, a lot more post touches, especially in the first 3 quarters of that game. And the thing about Boston is, I'll talk a little bit about Boston later, but in terms of this scenario, the Boston Celtics helped us in terms of getting Vucevic into the post, because Boston plays small, that's one, and that's really the harsh thing about small ball. You can capitalize on it on the other end. And every time they switch, because they basically switched 1 through 5, Vucevic always had a mismatch in the post, and then double teams happen, then we move the ball, and then obviously we get an easy layup or an easy 3-point shot. Sometimes basketball is truly that easy, and sometimes you got to allow it to be that easy as well. And the Bulls, for the most part, did a good job in identifying the mismatches, getting the ball to Vucevic in the post, and allowing things to happen from there. It was a great game from our big 3, and obviously it was a very strong game from our bench as well. I was always worried about the Boston Celtics bench. Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, 2 guys there, ladies and gentlemen, that really are very strong players off the Boston Celtics bench. And altogether, I was scared of Boston overall. Great 3-point shooting team coming into this game very, very hot. I think they were on a 9-game win streak or something like that. Incredible night from, or incredible streak from the Boston Celtics. I'm thankful that the Bulls broke that streak, but most importantly, we will give credit where it's due. Boston are a tough side, no matter how much we beat them by today. They did have an off night. But let's not say that their off night was all because of the Boston Celtics. Let's give ourselves credit here, ladies and gentlemen. Our defense was very, very good. For the most part, we did very well on those role players, on Marcus Smart, on Malcolm Brogdon, on Derek White, on Grant Williams. Al Horford was very off today as well. We did a good job on those guys. Yes, Jason Tatum had 28 points. Jaylen Brown played very well as well. But if you allow those two to get their points and you stop everybody else from playing, there's a higher probability you're going to win that game. And the Bulls did a very good job on the defensive end, I do have to say. From Caruso to Zach LaVine, very, very strong defensive performance from the Chicago Bulls. So as much as Boston did not make their shots, as much as Boston had an off night, and those things did happen, we didn't face the best Boston Celtics team we could have, where they were making their shots, the ball movement was, I guess, going left, right, and center. But we also got to give ourselves credit for being able to make Boston have a bad night. And it's as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. But let's go into the individual performances. All around great game. I think most people played well. DeMar DeRozan had 28 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists alongside of 1 steal, 11 from 24 from the field, 3 from 3 from the three-point line. I did not expect that from DeMar DeRozan, I'm not going to lie. But I would say, yeah, a very, very solid night from DeMar DeRozan. I think this is a typical night you come to see from him. Maybe not necessarily from the three-point line, but the shots that he took, 24 shots today, that's probably something you expect from DeMar DeRozan. And again, just the stat line in general was a very, very solid one. He didn't have a great start to the game, but he definitely heated things up towards the second half and the second quarter especially. So, again, in my opinion, if you saw, let's just say Vucevic and LaVine had a great game, but DeMar DeRozan struggled, again, that's something we've been seeing in most of our losing games. One of the big three doesn't seem to have a good game. But when all three of them do, you see a performance like this and you see us walk away with a win, you see us score 120 points, and you do see solid defense as well. I like the commitment the Bulls made on the defensive end, and DeMar DeRozan did play a part of that as well. You can't hate on DeMar DeRozan's performance today. Patrick Williams, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 1 steal in this game as well. 6 from 9 from the field, 3 from 4 from the three-point line. Easily one of Patrick Williams' best scoring nights of not only his career, I would say, but definitely this season for sure. And what I have to say about Patrick Williams, if it wasn't for him, this Bulls team would have struggled as well. Again, I don't think he was the end-all be-all today, but look how many shots he had at the beginning of the game. He was the one that dictated the play from the very beginning. He was the one that allowed us to play with confidence at the very beginning. Sometimes teams, especially the Bulls, had bad starts to games, and Patrick Williams did not allow us to have a bad start with his ability to make shots and everything of that nature. He did a very good job, in my opinion, defensively as well. Very good night from Patrick Williams. There were some shots that I saw today from Pat. Again, this guy was crossing up Jason Tatum half the time and making his shots. This guy has the talent. He has the skills. It's all about putting it together for him. It's all about the mentality that he has. It's never, ever been about the skill set with Patrick Williams, because I think every single night he shows that he has the skill set. He can take his three-point shots. He can cut to the basket. He can shoot the mid-ranges. He has all the skills in his repertoire. It's just about putting it all together, and it's all about the mentality he has along the way. And this is one of those games where I'm very, very proud of Patrick Williams. Then we move to Nikola Vucevic. 12 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 from 7 from the field, and 0 from 1 from the three-point line. So I consider this a good game from Nikola Vucevic. He didn't take a lot of threes because we were the bigger team today. When we verse teams that are smaller than us, very rarely we do, we've got to capitalize on that. And Vucevic, all of his points basically came from the mid-range area and from the paints. And that is something that, again, that's what we need from Nikola Vucevic. We need to see that a lot. And some games you won't see that. Games against Philly, games against Denver, maybe even games against the Pelicans, when you're versing these tough centers, these physically strong centers, Vucevic can't bully them all the time in the paint. It doesn't always happen. But when you're versing Al Horford, who I've said in the last game reaction against Boston and the one before that, he's not as physical as those guys, you take advantage of that. They constantly switch, you take advantage of that. And again, outside of Marcus Smart, because I don't think he made a post hook on Marcus Smart, he took everybody to the post and he was doing his thing. So very good job from Nikola Vucevic. Zach LaVine, 22 points, 5 rebounds and 5 assists, 8 from 20 from the field, 5 from 10 from the three-point line. I still don't think we are seeing the best version of Zach LaVine, but again, this is a good response to what he got benched in the last game against Orlando in the fourth quarter. 4 points in total, horrifically bad game, his worst of his NBA career. This is a solid response, I must say. His fourth quarter performance was much better. That's obviously was always going to be a big talking point coming into this game, knowing he got benched last time out. But overall, his three-point shooting was good. He wasn't necessarily terrible from the field either, and he made a very big difference in the game. There were a couple of moments in the game where he heated up and he made his shots. His shots are still bad, in my opinion, in terms of shot selection. There are a lot of step-back threes, deep three-point shots that I do not like to see. But I guess the difference is he made them in this game. So I don't know, a lot of people are going to be paying too much attention to it. But it's definitely something we can look at. And also, I think there needs to be much more fouls called on Zach LaVine. This guy drives to the basket damn near every possession half the time. And he gets very little calls. But he also got a very good dunk today as well. So look, I hope he's getting back to his best. That's what we need to see out of Zach LaVine. And if we're going to have any success throughout the season, LaVine's going to have to be a big part of that. Ayo Dosunmu, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 from 8 from the field, 0 from 1 from the three-point line. Look, honestly, this is a solid game from Ayo Dosunmu, but knowing what he kind of averages against the Boston Celtics, you probably would have expected a little bit more. He played his role today well. Sometimes he cut to the basket. Sometimes he was just trying to, I guess, shoot some shots. He did only make one shot. He didn't make a three, sorry. He only shot 1 3 the entire game. A lot of his points came from the driving lanes, came from in the paint, and he did play solid defense as well. Again, that's the role player in Ayo that we need. He's not always going to be the go-to guy. He's not always going to be a guy that we rely on for points, but solid in almost every other avenue. He had 2 assists today, not too bad. Could be better, of course. 3 rebounds, solid. 10 points, solid, but good defense all around. Good one-on-one defense as well. And he's a big part of why a lot of the Boston Celtics role players did not have great games today. Then you move to the bench. The bench, in my opinion, was absolutely superb. We're going to start off with Alex Caruso, 10 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists, and 4 steals on the night, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Caruso was a big part of this win. This guy was absolutely feasting. He got steals on everybody. And again, defensively, he was strong, but most importantly as well, 2 from 4 from the three-point line. Alex Caruso, I think statistically, is having one of his worst offensive seasons in the NBA. I'm glad to see he's picking it up a little bit now, ladies and gentlemen. And I know Alex Caruso did say once in an interview that he's not necessarily there for his scoring. He is there for his defense. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to need some of his scoring as well. It's really as simple as that. Then we move to Javonte Green, 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist from the 3 from 3 from the field, 0 from 0 from the three-point line. In my opinion, Javonte Green was one of the big differences. Again, an energizer, a player that moves without the ball. And as soon as he came in, he really made our first quarter a very strong one to watch. You could have easily seen the Bulls maybe fall off if you didn't pick Javonte Green in this game. We played him, we picked him, and at the end of the day, he did phenomenally well in those areas that you expect him to do well in. And that's what Javonte Green brings to a team, ladies and gentlemen. Very happy for his performance. He still only played 12 minutes today, so we could have easily seen more out of Javonte Green for sure, but in the minutes that he did play, I am very happy with his performance. And then we go to Andre Drummond, 5 points, 12 rebounds alongside of 1 assist in this game. Again, we played bigger than the Boston Celtics today. They played Luke Cornett for a small part of the game. He didn't do very well. But outside of that, their backup center was Grant Williams. And we took advantage of that. Drummond took advantage of that. Vucevic took advantage of that. And that is where we can hurt teams that play small ball. And that's where teams hurt us as well. When we play a small ball lineup with Derrick Jones Jr. as the backup center for the Bulls, you bring on Valanciunas for the Pelicans and he hurts us. And every other team can do that to us as well. But when you don't play small ball all the time, I don't think we saw many small ball lineups today from the Bulls, especially from that center position. You bring Andre Drummond in there, who's a solid player, and we can hurt them in that way as well. It's kind of like tasting your own medicine, ladies and gentlemen. That's kind of what it felt like today. And yeah, Very, very solid night from Andre Drummond. And of course, we'll talk about Kobe White. 9 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, alongside of 1 steal and 1 block. Very good block on Jason Tatum, ladies and gentlemen. Not necessarily great from the 3-point line, only 1 from 6, 2 from 8 overall. He got to the foul line. He made some good plays in this game as well. I'm not going to discredit Kobe White's performance and say it wasn't very good, but I know we can see better efficiency from Kobe White, but he has just come back from injury. This is only his 2nd game back. Let's give him some time to develop and get, I guess, his legs underneath him again, and we'll see where things go for Kobe White. But definitely not a bad game from him, I would say, either. He made some good plays, played some solid defense as well. You can't really ask for too much more, especially from his injury concerns and stuff like that. And obviously Goran Dragic played, but he didn't necessarily do very well in today's game. I think he only got 1 assist. He played 7 minutes. He obviously got injured as well, and hopefully there's nothing too serious about that. But when we look at the must improve, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very hard one to give, just for the sake of I can't really pick anybody else. I know he played 7 minutes and he did get hurt. I will pick Goran Dragic. He also didn't have much of a great game last time out against the Magic, I believe. But again, I don't really have too much to say. I'm really only picking him because in the minutes that he played, he didn't do very well. But at the same time, the guy got injured, so I can't really say too much more. We'll leave it at that. Maybe you could just consider no must improve, but again, I do feel like I have to give at least one every now and then. The player of the game for me is a very, very interesting one. I think obviously when I look at Patrick Williams, I think he definitely helped us start the game strong. I think Vucevic was a very important part of why we won today. Obviously Zach LaVine's 4th quarter performance. I do think if you're looking at the statistics side, I would probably give it to DeMar DeRozan. Now, again, I don't think DeMar DeRozan had a great 1st quarter. In fact, I thought he was off in that 3rd quarter. But every single other quarter from that, he built on his performance. He got better. He got to the foul line. He obviously had 4 assists in today's game as well. It wasn't a whole lot of isolation from him. There were some dumb shots, and there always will be with this Bulls team. With DeMar DeRozan and with Zach LaVine, even with Vucevic sometimes, there are dumb shots that the Bulls take. And we've got to clean that up, especially when teams are going to be making their shots against us. But I will give it to DeMar DeRozan again. And I think in our worst period of the Bulls' entire season, and even last year as well, this is probably one of our worst periods. DeMar DeRozan has been the most consistent one that we can talk about in terms of actually showing up for the Bulls. So that's probably where I direct my player of the game to. But again, I think if you pick anyone between DeMar, Pat, Zach LaVine, and Nikola Vucevic, even Alex Caruso off of the bench, then I think we're heading in the right direction. I think that's probably where the player of the game should go to. But the Bulls' record is now 7-10. We are 3 games below 500. And look, this is just one game, as I mentioned before. We've got to pick things up in the future. That's the most important thing. This can be the start, but no one should be changing their mind on the Bulls based on one game. This has to be the start of what hopefully will be a successful run for the Chicago Bulls. Hopefully this is where it begins, but it's not going to be easy. Our next game is against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, a team that plays small ball like the Boston Celtics. We are now versing a team that's going to play much bigger in the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, of course. Brook Lopez, I believe. Obviously, guys like Bobby Portis. Again, I'm not sure, I guess, the injury concerns of the Milwaukee Bucks, but they are playing strong basketball, and they play a lot bigger than us as well. So this will create a lot of problems for us, in my opinion. This will not be the same game as it is against Boston. I don't think we're going to have the same impact. I don't think we're going to be able to make the same impact in terms of playing bigger. But hopefully we'll make impacts everywhere else. And honestly, this is a game I'm fearful of. But even if we do lose this game against Milwaukee, I want this game to be the start of something, because we've got a couple of games out west that I think can be winnable when we play at our best. Even this game against Milwaukee, I think is winnable if we play at our best. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the question. Can we play at our best? We'll have to wait and see. And I'll end this video here. Finally, I get to look at the game reaction. Finally, I get to look at the individual performances. And finally, I get to talk about a Bulls win. It's been a long time coming, and I'm sorry if this video is long, but at the end of the day, how many times have we spoken about a Bulls win recently? I wish I could talk for 1 hour if I had to, but at the end of the day, we'll leave it there. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.